Okay, hello. We are going over today's homework, which is pages 6 and 7 in the workbook. So, first of all, question A is we have to, first of all, complete the table of values, then we have to write an expression that relates the input to the output. Okay, so zooming in on the first one. Okay, so here we go. We have to figure out what's in our machine first before we can figure out what the expression is. That was our lesson from yesterday. So here we go. We're going to figure out our cheat. So we know this is increasing by 5. So that means I'm probably going to have 5 as one of my input values. So I'm thinking it's going to be maybe times 5. Let's see. 1 times 5 is 5. Minus 2 gives us 3. Okay, let's see if that's going to work for the rest of them. 2 times 5 is 10. Minus 2 is 8. 3 times 5 is 15. Minus 2 is 13. Okay, good. So now I'm just going to continue on with the rest of my table. So 6 times 5 is 30, minus 2 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35, minus 2 is 33. And then 8 times 5 is 40. 40 minus 2 is 38. 9 times 5 is 45, minus 2 is 43. Okay, so as long as you have that part done, then you get a mark. Okay, so all of those have to be correct to get 1 mark. Now, the next thing that we're doing is we're writing our expression. Remember, an expression does not have an equal sign. An equation has an equal sign, but not an expression. Okay, so now remember from yesterday, our lesson was that the input value, which I'm going to call I, that is going to be our variable, which is going to be next to the first part of the machine, okay? So if I'm looking at my input, basically my input here is 1. My input here is 2. My input here is 3, and so on, okay? So these are my inputs. So when I'm doing an input, I am then going to multiply it by 5. Then I'm going to minus 2 to get my answer, right? My input's 9, multiply by 5, minus 2, I get my answer, okay? So this is your expression. We also could write it this way. 5 times I minus 2. That would give the exact same thing, right? Because we know that these multiply, we can do those in either order, right? The other way we could write this is 5i minus 2. So we know that when we have a number next to a variable, there's a secret multiplication in there. So it's like kind of like this. It's sneaky, right? Mathematicians are lazy. They want to leave that out. So any of those are correct. I would like you to write in all of these in your book, even though you maybe only have 1. Because a multiple choice question one day might ask you which is correct, but they'd only give you 1 of these options. You have to be able to identify that these are all the same, okay? So take a moment to write that in, even though I know you probably only have 1 thing. So again, any one of those you get a mark, so this question's out of 2. They're all gonna be out of 2, okay? Alrighty, next one is, okay, we're going to, again, our first strategy is figuring out what's in the machine. Okay, using my strategy over here, a little cheat, I know that I'm increasing by 5. So I'm going to guess that one of my values is going to be multiplied by 5. Let's see. 1 times 5 is 5 plus 4 equals 9. I think it might be 4. Let's see if it works. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 4 is 14. Right on. This might be our magic ticket. It is. Okay, so now we're going to continue for the rest of the table. So I'm just going to fill this in first of all, and then we're going to go through each of them. So 6 times 5 is 30, plus 4 is 34. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4 is 39. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 equals 44. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 4 is 49. Okay, now we're doing the expression. So same deal. I'm going to call my variable I just to represent the I in input, but I could call it N, I could call it X, I could call it whatever I want to. My I, again, is any of these numbers here. So what have I done? I have done my variable, which is I, and then I'm multiplying it by 5 every time, and then I'm going to add 4. So that's one way you could write it, or you could write it like this, 5 times I plus 4, or 5I plus 4. So again, I would like you to write down all of these options because you never know when one of them might pop up because they're all the same, okay? Alrighty, next one is our last one for this page. So figure out what's going in the input-output machine. Here, our cheat is we know it's going up by 6. So I'm probably going to do, I think it's going to be multiply by 6. So let's see. 0 times 6 is 0. How do I get from 0 to 4? I'd add 4. That might be it. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 4 is 10. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 4 equals 16. Okay, I think that's going to be correct. Now, we're going to add on the rest of the values. Okay, so 5 times 6 is 30, plus 4 is 34. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 4 is 40. 7 times 6 is 42. 42 plus 4 is 46. 8 times 6 is what is it? 46. 46 plus 4 is 50. 48. Wait, 8 times, oh yeah, 8 times 6 is 48. Sorry. And then plus 4 is 50. 48 plus 4 is 52. Okay, there we go. Excellent. So now we have to do our equation. So it is, we have 6. We did our input, which was an I. So any of these values are our input. So we have I times by 6 and then plus 4. Or we could have 6I plus 4. Or we could have 6 times I plus 4. Any of those options are correct. Okay, so write down all of those, please. Okay, that's the first page. Now, next page is we are figuring out what our pattern rule is based upon the number of triangles. Okay, this one is quite tricky, number 1. So if you don't get it, if you didn't get it in your homework, that's why we're going over it. Okay, so figure 1, there's 1 triangle. Figure 2, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Figure 3, there is 9. Figure 4, if you count them all up, you're going to notice there's 16. Okay, now this is tricky because if we go over here to our cheat, there isn't 1. This is increasing by 3, but then this is increasing by 5, and then this is increasing by 7. Okay, but there's another thing that we can figure out. It actually is the figure number times itself. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. So if we continue, 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 7 is 49. 8 times 8 is 64. Good. Okay. So our pattern rule is the number times the number, or the figure times the figure. So it's the number times itself. The other way that we would write that is n squared, which means we've multiplied the same number by itself one time. We did this a little bit earlier. I'll just give you a quick little reminder. Say we have a number times a number times a number. That's the same as n cubed. Or if we have number times number times number times number, that would be n to the power of 4, okay? So this one is n squared, or this one, they're both correct. Oh wait, that's the expression. I'm just gonna switch these around. Pattern rule would be start at 1, multiply by the number each time. Okay, that one was hard. You probably maybe wouldn't have gotten that pattern rule, but that's what it is. So start at 1 and then multiply that figure number by itself each time. Okay, so now find the number of triangles in the 8th figure. Okay, well we already did that. That's right here, 64. Okay, alrighty, next one. For each table of values, write an expression that represents the pattern. Okay, so here we're going to see we're increasing by 4. So I think it's going to be, let's see, something times 4. Okay, so 1 times 4 is 4, maybe minus 3 is 1. 2 times 4 is 8, minus 3 is 5. Okay, that's going to be it. So our expression then is 4i minus 3. Or you can say 4 times I minus 3, or I times 4 minus 3. Any of those. Okay, next one is we're going up by 5. So we think it's going to be maybe times by 5. Let's see, 2 times 5 is 10. How do I get to 4? I subtract 6. Okay, test it again. 3 times 5 is 15. Will it work? Minus 6 gives us 9. Perfect. So our answer is going to be, again, if this is I, 5i minus 5i minus 6, okay, or 5 times I minus 6, or I times 5 minus 6. Any of those will work, okay? The last one was bonus. So if you did that, that's great. I'll show you quickly. So it's the number times 7 plus 10. So 0 times 7 is 0 plus 10 is 10. 1 times 7 is 7 plus 10 is 17. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 10 is 27. 3 times 7 is 21. 21 plus 10 is 31. And then 4 times 7 is 28 plus 10 is 38. Okay, there you go. So that's it. You do not have to do the story problem one. Okay, that is